precast structure there. Selden Lane, that was a in a PVC pipe. That was a pretty significant crack, about 2 to 3 feet long. But when we did the CCTV inspection in 2019, that was a significant source of groundwater just pouring in on a brand new, well, relatively new pipe. That Selden Lane, I don't think is that old. That's probably 30 some odd years old. So that was in there as well. Oak Hill Drive, there's a couple manholes. We typically do manhole risers and things ourselves, but with the public works crew on Hussey Hill divided, plus Jeff and I down here, we just don't have time to get to that. So I did put that in this package. And the South Alpine Street is a old brick manhole. Actually, you can see as you're going up South Alpine Street from Libby Hill, the manhole cover is kind of flat compared to the road, and the guys hit it every year with the plow. It's a pretty deteriorated manhole that we want to dig that out. There's also a significant inflow and infiltration point about 11 feet down from that manhole, that at the same time we're having to remove the manhole, we're going to put a new pipe in and fix that issue as well to, again, contribute to hopefully continue to remove our inflow and infiltration in the system. The total price, we got actually, like I said, the 3 bids. McGee was low by about $500. CMD Construction was second at $73,000 even, and then Mantor Construction was $108,000, I believe. So our budget for work on our sewer system is about $70,000 plus or minus. So the $72,000 was basically completely eliminate my budget for the year, which Gary and I talked about it. We really didn't want to wipe everything out this early in the budget process. So what we want to do is strike number 3 and number 4, Selden Lane and Oak Hill Drive from the work, and just have recommend to the board we hire McGee Construction to do items 1, 2, and 5 as soon as they can get it scheduled this fall.
That's gonna take about $60,000.
It's about 49,000, almost 50,000.
That leaves them some wiggle room. The other projects aren't critical, and we can always jump on those towards the end of this next year, knowing after we figure out how the year kind of plays out, and or run it into next spring when you budget and carry forward your.
Right. Yeah, we have some work that needs to be done at the KMD pump station. So we really didn't want to wipe out my budget completely for that line item on these items. The 1 and 2 are absolutely the most critical. Those needed to be done as soon as possible. Number 5, not as critical, but it's an old brick manhole. It's just going to deteriorate more over time, so we might as well take care of that at the same time when we have a competent contractor in house. So
taking 2 off the chart won't take and make McGee change his bid.
I asked them that, and they said, no, they're all set. I had asked in the RFP to give each price the way they did, so that way I could pick and choose depending on the budget. So they were comfortable with that. So we did ask the top 2 contractors, where they were within $500 of each other, if we could push off Selden Lane in their bids till next spring. McGee really had put in his number to do everything all at once. So he's a good contractor. They got a lot of good equipment, and Route 11 it's a tough area down there when you're right on that, right by the bed and breakfast there. Yeah, I mean they're right down in the valley. They are right on that near that airplane corner. And CMD is the second contractor. They're a good contractor, but McGee's got a little more experience on those bigger roads, and I feel a little more comfortable with McGee.
Mr. Bowman, you have a question?
Exclusions. Is that legally just so that they're not caught, or are those things that we could possibly be responsible for above and beyond the 49,000?
Yeah. So the only really one that might come into play would be the pavement. I have no idea what the pavement depth is out there on 11. I mean, a lot of times here DOT roads you can find anywhere from 8 inches to 12 inches of pavement. What I had them do, so I get apples to apples on the RFP, is assume, I think I assume 4 inches of pavement. So anything above that, we would just have to pay them. Basically, they have to put it in the list. So if there was anything more than 4, but I think if it was more than 4 when we start digging, I'm gonna contact DOT and see if we can just put 4 in. So that's the only real exclusion. I think that's probably a standard thing in their proposals. that they
And you
put
don't
in.
expect any of those Davis-Bacon wage rates, curbing, concrete?
No, I mean, the Davis
Testing
Bacon wage
programs.
rates are for state grants and things, and this is all our own money, so yeah, there shouldn't be an issue there. We're all in pretty much in the, well, that one, we're in the northbound travel lane, Oak Street, where all of these are kind of right in the middle of the road, so we shouldn't be any curbing or anything, so. That would be the only one, would be paving, and that's a legitimate, I would pay them extra anyway for that, if it's deeper, so.
And we left room in the budget in case we did run into.
Yep.
Dave Groda, question?
Are they gonna be taking care of their own flaggers and stuff? This won't impact the PD budget by supplying flaggers and
No,
stuff?
I want that, it's a turnkey operation, I want them to provide it, and to schedule everything, because it's their baby, they don't have to worry about it, so.
You realize school's starting on August 31st?
Yeah, that's right when I wanted to be on Oak Street, so.
You're awesome. Nate, you had a question?
Yeah, a couple questions. The Route 11, you said it runs like under a DOT culvert.
It does.
Now, is there anything wrong with that culvert, like where DOT would have to get involved?
No, we actually had them, when we had the CCDV equipment, and I had them scope that out.
Okay.
Because I thought, I said,
Sometimes they
theirs
may
is
do that.
collapsed and it's messed ours up, but it wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if we could get them involved and maybe they'll do some of the excavation for cost.
I was hoping I
Okay.
could pull that in, but.
And then my other question was, I know a couple of years ago, we talked about the intersection of Heath and Oak, there being a sewer infiltration issue there. What's going on with that? Is that changed or?
No, that's still there. It's
It is.
just, that's probably a $300,000
That's-
job. So
okay.
we're
That's
still
a lot
building
more.
up our reserves to the point where we can
If
do
you're
something.
probably
about that.
unaware of it, Nate, but we actually had about $450,000 in a reserve account for him. And by the time I took the job over, we had it down to $9,000. So
Right.
we had to raise sewer rates to get that
I do remember
changed.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
and now we're up to somewhere around
Thank you, Doc.
$250,000. Thanks.
Mr. Bowman, you had another question?
Not specifically about this, but somewhat related, I guess. South Alpine Street, they're doing a major pipe.
That's the manhole and just a pipe segment, which is the most significant leak that we found when we did the CCD.
No, I'm talking about the project that's going on
That's the
now.
water.
Oh, you mean the water main?
Is that water pipes?
It's water pipes.
Run the
They're
whole
putting in-
length of,
No, it's not going the whole length. I think they're only going to the bog area and then they're stopping.
Just a short distance.
And
It
but
came
they're,
in last week.
I think they're also going on North Alpine Street too, aren't they?
I haven't heard that.
It's a tie-in looping. It's a loop their system to get a little better flows and things like
I was
that.
just wondering if they're gonna be working in the same area at some time, or we're gonna be digging up stuff they've done.
No, it should be on separate areas, but this is a good time. I know Jeff just paid part of that, which is one of the reasons I didn't really want to include South Alpine, but where they're digging up the other end of it, it's a good time to get in, and then Jeff can pave it after we're all done messing around in there, so.
I make a motion, we go and do the 3 projects with McGee.
Motion's made second by Dave Groda, all in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
I actually want to revisit our code enforcement officer real quick. He's got one more item that he might have gotten without anything.
I'd like to give you a copy of an application for a holding tank for the Department of Human Services application there. Brian Gillis owns the big garage/storage building over on Old Belgrade Avenue. He's looking, apparently he has an employee that does a lot of work over there, looking to put a holding tank in for a toilet sink shower type thing inside the building. There's no room for a full septic system, and they're, I don't know, a few hundred feet from town sewer and water. So he's looking at getting this holding tank put in. You can see the septic designs attached to that. That's been designed for an employee bathroom, so to speak, a 2,000-gallon tank. The reason it's in front of you is the application from the Department of Human Services requires a signature from town officials. So that would be you, gentlemen.
Dave?
Is there any chance that that would change its occupancy down the road and Is that system big enough to hold a change in occupancy?
This system is designed, if you look at the design here, that was designed by Bob Gilchrist, he's a site evaluator. It was designed on the front page, bottom right-hand side, I guess, is design flow 20 gallons a day, and it's based on the one person place of employment. So if it was changing, they'd have to change this, which would probably force that change into connected to public sewer, because there's no room for a septic system.
I make a motion, we approve this holding tank installation.
Motion made, second by Dave, all in favor? Thank you.
I do believe Jan has a clean copy of that, if you guys don't mind signing it, we'll finish processing it once the signatures are on it. Have you on here?
Next item is we're going to carry forwards.
I have Kelly Beanie, our Director of Finance here.
So I gave you all a packet with a binder clip on it. The first page shows our carry forward history over 2018, 2019, and then currently this year. My 6-month anniversary was on Friday, and I think I've seen every possible aspect of this budget inside and out in those 6 months that I think nothing can come at me that I probably won't be able to handle. With COVID hitting and having to redo the budget several times, we locked down our budget, we furloughed employees, we relocated employees, like so many things happened, and we ended up really, really good this year.
And she's still here.
You know, I think locking down the budget really put onus on our department heads to reel it in, and we ended up in a really good position this year. So we're looking to carry forward, well, not all of it, but, so we had 829,000 unspent expenses. We had a revenue overage, which pretty much came back the second half of June because of the people not registering their vehicles, the excise tax not coming in, our state revenue sharing, we weren't sure where that was gonna end up because we weren't getting, you know, we thought there were gonna be lower checks. Well, June's ended up being bigger than we imagined, and we ended up with $110,952 over what we had budgeted, so. And then we have our overlay from the previous year that we can carry into this next year. So our carryover requests, if you go to the second page, we're looking.
We're gonna get a vote on the,
Oh.
continue right down your
Okay.
page. Let's explain everything you got right there.
Okay, so the carryover requests that we would like to bring forward is $612,000, 612,501. Amounts we'd like to put back into the 2021 budget. If you all remember this budget sheet from budget time, the budget summary sheet, there's $75,000 that we actually took out of the capital improvement reserve fund. We'd like to put that $75,000 back into that. And then the remaining balance would be 301 that we would put back into the fund balance, which we currently are using $275,000 to fund parts of this year's budget. We'd like to put 301 back. So that kind of explains what we'd like to do with the money.
This is what we do every year. I mean,
Yeah.
if we get enough money, we end up replenishing those accounts.
We did have 4 departments that were overspent. Administration was overspent by $1180 due to labor costs. Rescue was $150 over, again, the per diem rates, I think, with the labor costs there. Public safety, the street lights threw us over by $2,100.
And combined with the overage on the dispatch.
Yes,
That was combined.
public safety dispatch, yeah. And then the code enforcement officer budget was over by $5,000 due to labor costs as well.
So I'm gonna pause you right there real quick.
He's in there asking for stuff.
Have you got any questions on the overspent departments? Because if you don't, what I'd like to do is I'd like to get you to vote, or a motion and a vote to accept the overages. Any questions on that part of it?
I'd make a motion, we accept these 4 overspent amounts.
Motion's made, second by Bob.
Now, where do we have to cover those out of?
That's already been taken care of, so you've got a total care for amount of $989,700.
It comes out of that. right?
Yeah, it's already been taken out.
All right.
Yeah.
Motion was made by Mr. Nutting, all in favor? Thank you.
Okay, sorry, Kelly.
That's all right. So if you turn the page, the areas where we would like to carry the money forward, administration, we have a big election coming up. We'd like to carry over Jan's voting machine money of $8,276, computer equipment of $1,906. Part of our contingency fund, it's the Eau Claire property up on Smithfield. There's $3,175 left of that money that was allotted that we're planning on using up in the next year or two to do stuff up there. The fuel fund, $1,707. Employee separation costs, that's when people retire, their sick time, they leave, we pay them out, so that we carry forward every year. That's $84,881. Memorials maintenance, $2797. 150th anniversary, $44.53. Solid waste, $14,738. The road improvement, miscellaneous road repair, $25,962. Paving, $67,783. And the Huzzy Hill project, which should be eaten up this year because they're up there now, that's $40,927. Miscellaneous appropriations, the Belgrade dams, they didn't use all of their money they were allotted last year. So they had $2,400 left, so we'd like to carry that over since we did cut their budget initially during the COVID. That was one of the areas